अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Okay. So, any questions, clarifications, or it's all clear? Okay. No questions, I'm assuming it's clear, okay? Which is the verse we did? 20?
24th we finished.
24. Yes.
24.
We have to do some 24. Up to 23 we completed. Nirvanna Chetasa, etc. Okay. So there are no questions, no clarifications. So, okay to go ahead with it? Okay. All right. Now he is going back a little bit to the process of meditation, okay, in the next two verses, and talking about it, what it is, okay, what is necessary in that. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan asheshatah manesyaiva indriya gramam vinayamya samantatah शनै शनैरुपरमेद् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किंचिदपि चिन्तयेत्. Two verses together because there is no verb in the first verse. That's the beauty of Sanskrit. You can create a whole verse without a verb in it. Okay. Yeah. Without a verb you can create a whole verse out of it. Okay. Therefore, what is he saying? Okay. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman. Kaman, desires. Sankalpa prabhavan, which is because of your thoughts, your thinking. Some desires are purely because you exist as a body. Hunger, thirst, biological needs. These are purely because you are alive. Like, what do you think is the greatest desire a human being can have? The biggest desire, apart from moksha, what do you think the biggest desire a human being can have? Air, to desire to breathe. Because these are desires which are purely body oriented. In English, sometimes we call them needs. Okay. You have to be alive, you need it. Kama, here, Sankalpa Prabhavan, that's why he distinguishes it. Desires born of your thinking. You are hungry, you want to eat. क्या खाए? Whatever you get, you will eat. Sadhu hai. You're a sadhu. What you get, you will eat. But if you are thinking, I'm hungry today. Hey, today is Saturday. कहाँ जाएगा खाने के लिए? That is called Sankalpa Prabhavan. Because you want to eat a particular thing at a particular place. Yeah. Sankalpa Prabhavan. Okay. Very often, they are not a problem. Is it really a problem? If you feel like eating pasta tonight, and you have the means to do it, no big deal. No big deal. Okay. But if you're meditating and you're thinking of pasta, what will happen? That won't work. Okay. That won't work. It is like, okay, keep this in mind when you think of meditation. How important the contemplative mind is. Okay. The student goes and asks the master, "Sir, can I eat an apple while I am meditating?" Of course not. What nonsense are you talking? Correct. Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. You don't have to eat an apple while you are meditating. You can eat before or after. Another student goes and asks the master, "Sir, can I meditate while eating an apple?" Of course, my boy. Of course. Now this seems like a joke. It is not a joke. In the second case, he is making his mind contemplative, that even when he is eating, he is contemplating. Whereas in the first case, in meditation, he is bringing in his desires. At least in meditation, keep it out. Unless you are doing those meditations like visualizations, etc., to fulfill a desire. What is that book that has become very famous? The Secret. Rhonda something, right? Many of you may have read it. Okay? That you have complete desire about a thing, you will get it. And if you don't get it, it is because you are not having that complete commitment. Heavily overstated. Heavily overstated. If just by Sankalpa you could do all these things, don't you think I would have got the world rid of Corona by now? 6 months, all I would have done is to sit down and contemplate on getting Corona free. 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. It doesn't happen like that. It's highly overstated. Yes, if you contemplate on your desire, visualize, etc., it is like a prayer. It can increase your desire, remove all psychological blocks, and you'll focus on it and try to get it. That much is okay. More than that is overstatement. Okay, heavily overstated. Okay. Here, the Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva. At least at your seat of meditation, give it up. If not, you cannot say Tyaktva in your normal life. Because you are still Karma Yoga. When you are living a life of Karma Yoga, desires will be there. And desire fulfillment is part of Karma Yoga. Desire fulfillment is part of Karma Yoga. Until you come to a state where all priority is taken care of, it doesn't matter anymore. Then you will have Badita desires. Desires which are negated but may come up because of your background. What is the desire coming up of a background? This Mahatma from Trichy came to Rishikesh. Okay, stayed in our ashram for some time. He's really what we call in Rishikesh Pauncha hua Mahatma hai. Okay, meaning he's well established. And Rishikesh, those days in our ashram, you would get typical roti sabji dal. That is how the ashram was at that time. So after 2 days, I asked him, Maharaji, are you okay with everything that is happening? In my broken Tamil. Okay. I said, okay, Maharaji, everything is okay. He said, yes, everything. I said, Swamiji, if there is anything you need, let me know. We will try and see what can we do. Oh, well, if I can get some curd, it will be nice. Now, he has not looked for curds, he has not asked for curds. But this is coming from his background. It is called Badita desires. Desires which is negated, but they are habits which South Indian is not habituated to curds at least 2 times a day. If possible, they will take it with breakfast also. Ask a South Indian, you want oats with curds or with breakfast with milk? What they will say? Half the time they'll say with curds. Oats with. So, Baditam, it doesn't matter. These are non-binding. Badita meaning that is non-binding. It doesn't bind you into anything. Non-binding desires. We are not talking about those desires. Those desires are not a problem in life. There can be, in fact, the idea of living a life of Karma Yoga is that the whole world becomes like this. Once you gain the knowledge, you can have a desire. You are free enough to have desires because all of them are non-binding. All of them are non-binding in desires. Yeah, so that is the whole idea. So because you're human, some of these things will come up in your mind. It is natural. Okay? Yeah. One needs to take care of binding desires through a life of Karma Yoga. And remember, Karma Yoga includes the framework of Dharma. So the minimum dharma you will say is ahimsa. You are not hurting somebody in the process. That's the minimum dharma. Hurting somebody else, hurting yourself. Half the time you hurt yourself in the process. No. So that minimum dharma, if you keep in mind, that is Karma Yoga. But here, at the seat of your meditation, keep it all aside. Keep it all aside. Later, if your mind says, I want that, baat mein dekhega. After half an hour, now half an hour I am meditating. After half an hour I will go into all this. Okay, Tektva Sarvan Asheshatah. कुछ बाकी मत रखो माइंड में. That is why we have that preparatory process where you accept people, things, situation, etc. And I say even if you have a desire to change some things, you will resolve to do it later, etc. Remember all those things that we do in the preparatory meditation. It is meant for that. Okay. Those who missed that class can catch it up with the recording. Those who don't remember also can catch it up. Okay. वो भी हो सकता है. There are some 3-4 classes back. Yeah. So he says Sarvan Asheshatah Tektva, giving up all that. He says Manaseva Indriya Gramam Viniya Samantatah, withdrawing the mind from your sense organs. Meaning, you don't have a desire to see this, that, etc. What is happening there? Heard some noise. That's noise from the neighbor's house. Withdraw that mind. Yeah. Because this sense stimuli will be there. As long as you are alive, it will be there. Except if you are in deep sleep or in samadhi. Yeah, sense stimuli will be there. Withdraw the mind from that. Withdraw the mind. Don't focus on your seeing. Eyes are easy, you just have to close them. What are you going to do with your ears and your nose? Withdraw the mind from that. Yeah. What are you going to do with this sense of touch? Suddenly you will find a nice, you will experience a cool breeze coming in. ये कहाँ से आया? No. I closed all the windows. Doesn't matter where it is from. Withdraw the mind from that. Therefore, samantata, very nicely, okay, or from all your sense organs, you have withdrawn the mind. Okay. Then what? Shanai Shanai Uparamed. Shanai Shanai Uparamed. Moment to moment. Thought by thought. Uparamed. Quieten that mind. Use japa dhyanam, etc. Quieten the mind. With what? Buddhya dhriti grihitaya. Dhriti grihitaya buddhya. Dhriti. Will, but will here expressing as a commitment as a perseverance. It is not strong, I will do it. It is not like, no, it's relaxed. In martial art we say this. Either you can do things with great intent, or you can do things very awarefully. This is done awarefully. This dhriti here is to do it very awarefully, very quietly, very calmly. Not by force of will. Thought, go away. No. You will get more thoughts. You don't fight with your own mind. The worst thing you can do is to fight with your mind. In Ramayana, Vali stands for the mind. North Indians may have heard of him as Bali. Sugriva's elder brother. Okay? Vali. That is why he was portrayed as the opponent that is fighting him, half the opponent's strength goes to him. Now Vali himself was a mountain of a guy, huge guy. Okay? And he was very powerful warrior. And if half the opponent's strength goes to him, is there any chance of beating him in a face-to-face combat? Half my strength is with him, plus his own huge strength that he has. Even if I am stronger than him, he will still beat me. Because half my strength is his. Your mind is the same. Your mind is the same. Never fight with your mind. This is a mistake many students make, especially in the beginning. Be awareful. Persuade the mind. Change your patterns of thinking. That's why I handle that, how to handle your mind, how to handle your emotions. Right in the beginning I did that because these are the things. Those of you who have missed that, my old website is up. The new design will be up in a couple of weeks, but the old one is up. Therefore, in that workshop section, you will see that. You will see that, how to handle emotions, etc. Okay. Now, the whole format is being rearranged because that was done a few years back. So, time now to and it had some virus and all coming into it. So, time to change the whole thing up. So, that change is happening. So, go to that and see how to handle that emotion. Thinking changes, cognitive changes, persuasive changes, and in rare occasion, the use of will. Rare. When it's just because of your laziness or something like that. Okay. Then give yourself a kick on the back and say, I'll get up and do it. Okay. Do whatever works. Whatever works for you, use that. There are hundreds of mind management methods. Hundreds of them. From EST and all in our times, to therapy, to NLP, latest kid on the block. Latest kid, 20-year-old. Okay. In the Western world. In that formatting, it is 20-year-old. 20, 30-year-old in the Western world. In our Indian villages, it is a few thousand years old. Haven't you seen in these villages the Amman devotees walking on hot fire, putting spears to their... All that is NLP principles, okay? All that NLP principles are used. They knew it. They didn't know in the modern format, but they knew what NLP was and how to use it. So, all these are mind management techniques. Simple Karma Yoga, cognitive change is very simple, everyone can use it. That cognitive change that I talk about in that workshop, very simple for a thinking person like us. We are more thinkers than feelers or physical people. So for us that cognitive process works very well. Okay. Then there is EFT, tapping for trauma, etc. So on the face where the endings of all the nadis are, some major nadis, okay? You'll find that stomach, liver, kidney, etc. Kidneys at the back, all that. You'll find. So, you'll think of the trauma you have gone through and keep tapping those areas. It helps some energy release. Therefore, after that you can cognitively handle it. Because the trauma is too much for you to handle it directly. Therefore, tap, 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 tap. I'm not going to teach all that, okay? I'm aware of all that. I'm not going to teach all that. Go find somebody and do it if you want to. A simple, emotional, cognitive process works very well. That's what I have found. And that's what I have been doing for the last 35, 40 years, and has worked very well with individuals, with corporates, everyone. Okay? That process created also a couple of teachers, even though I don't have an ashram set up right now to do that. But still it has helped create a couple of teachers and things like that. So, it works well. Yeah. Therefore, do whatever it takes to handle that mind. Therefore, dhriti grihitaya manaha. Cognitive process, etc. Now with that, your mind is now under your control. You don't have to listen to the mind listens to you. Okay. Then what? Shanai Uparamed. The last mastery of the mind is what? What is the final mastery that you have of the mind? Final mastery is when you want to think, it will think. When you don't want to think, it won't think. Thoughtless mind. That is the final mastery. For those who are into yoga here, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. The mastery of the mind is a yoga. The second sutra that defines what yoga is. That mastery, the height of that mastery is samadhi state. Why? Because you can keep the mind quiet. It will not think if you don't want it to think. Therefore, shanai uparamed. But what? Remember that Griti, in our thinking, we also have knowledge along with it. It is not just Dhriti. We are not just going by will or by perseverance or by awareness there. We know what we are talking about. Therefore, Dhriti grihitaya mana. Shanai uparamed. And then, Atma samstam mana krutva. Na kinchadapi chintayet. Once that mind is resolved in the knowledge of the self, Atma Jnanena samstam krutva. That knowledge that you had, you introduced it in meditation. After quietening, the final quietening happens like this. This is called Nididhyasana. Then what? The thought of recognition is that yes, I am that limitless awareness. Asangoham, Shuddhoham, whatever word you have used, comes that. Silent awareness. Yes. Atma samstam manakrutva na kinchidapi chintaye. Don't think of anything else. What do you think? Now what are you thinking about it? Okay, the function of thought is over in self-recognition. Once the function of thought is over in self-recognition, what is left? How long? Until Prarabdha takes over and makes you think. Don't be worried. वो समाधि में बैठ गएगा, समाधि में जाएगा तो क्या करेगा? जाने? What difference does it make? But Swamiji, if I study, I meditate in the night, and if I slip into samadhi, what will happen? What will happen? Slip into samadhi. But then I won't get sleep if I get up only in the morning from samadhi. No problems. You will feel fresh. You won't need sleep that night. And what is the problem if a couple of nights you go without sleep? Which problem, eh? Oh, big problem. Then you need a bit more mastery. I have a conference tonight. I am awake until some 3:30 or something in the morning. US based thing. Yeah. So probably I'll sleep with moonrise for a couple of hours and then get up again. So if no problems if you won't need sleep if you are in samadhi. It doesn't matter. What if you don't get up from samadhi at all? Then also what is the problem? In India, we have a small custom. If 3 days you have not got up from your samadhi, we'll crack a coconut on your head and build a tomb around you. And we'll worship you after that, okay? You will become some appan or some amma. Okay. Yeah. Or some Mahatma, Pauncha hua Mahatma. In North India, they'll say like that. So, what is the problem? But Swamiji, I have small children, etc. Don't worry. If you have small children, etc., that thought will come and pull you out. You will not go into it. Your subconscious will get you out of it, so don't worry. Your prarabdha will get you out of it. So don't worry about it. Don't be like that couple. I know this couple. They have small kids. So if the couple is going out together, out of town, they won't fly by the same flight. Why? If something happens to the flight, both of us will go. Who will look after the kids? It sounds a nice thought. But you'll go to the airport in the same car. And the chances of you meeting an accident in the car are 100 times more than an accident in the air. So don't think like that. We will meditate alternatively. Okay. This is all meant for the couples. I'm talking a lot about the couples. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, na? It's couples day tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And to all those who don't have a partner in life, don't worry. All of you are lovable and loving as you are. So no problems. Okay. Therefore, okay. Na kinchitapi chintayet. Be there. Soak yourself into that knowledge. Be like the Rasagulla. Be like the Rasagulla. What was a Rasagulla? You first make the gulla, paneer ball. Then you dip it into the sugar solution. Now you don't dip it and take it out. It's not a dip. It's not a dip like hummus or something that you do. No. You soak it until the rasa permeates the gulla and it becomes Rasagulla. Then even if you're a very diet conscious person, like I know a couple of my students here are very diet conscious. They will take the gulla and squeeze it before they eat it. It's still sweet. Why? Because you can't separate the rasa and the gulla now. It's one. Similarly, you soak yourself in the knowledge. So even if life situations wring you out, squeeze you out, you are still Ananda. That doesn't change. Anandoham. Anandoham. Doesn't change. Therefore, Atma Samstam Manas Kritva Na Kinchitapa Chinte. Swamiji, I have a big problem here. Though the Krishna is answering, I'm just putting it like this. Okay, big problem. Why? My mind keeps going away. When I start, it is all fine. After that, I am thinking, Om Ishaya Namaha. Silence. Om Ishaya Namaha. Silence. Isha, isn't that a Christian name? Isha? Yeshu? Isn't that? But Christ was also a realized soul. But I heard he came to India to study all the Shiva Siddhanta. That's what he said. My mind goes, what do I do for that? Because mind can go with anything. Om Ishaya Namaha. Om Ishaya Namaha. Okay. Isha. Wasn't there? I wonder whether Isha Yoga uses the chant. You know Isha Yoga, na? Sadguru Jagi Vasudeva. Supposed to be a great mystic. Another thought. Want to think about Sadguru and listen to his videos? No problems. But in meditation, that's a problem. So what do I do? Look at Krishna's advice here. Yato nischarati manaschanchalamastheram tatastatta niyamyete tad atmanyeva vasham nayed. Yato nischarati. Yataha has become yato. Nischarati, when the mind goes. Okay? Why? Manaha chanchalam astiram. Manas is chanchalam, astiram. That has to be the nature of the mind. The mind has to change and change fast. Otherwise, perception will not be possible. Okay? Perception will not be possible. Because the world is changing fast. You are looking here, there, walking on the road. Your mind has to change fast to be aware of what's happening around you, to know what's happening around. Therefore, mind's nature is like that. Chanchalam, astiram. No, stira doesn't stay in one place. To be stiram and achalam is also the nature of the mind, but you never bother to cultivate that aspect. Human beings know only two states: awake and thinking, not thinking and asleep. To be awake and the mind remain in one place is not really developed. That is why sometimes you need a distraction to be able to focus. Like studying with music in the background. What does that music do? Drown out other noises so that you can focus on what you are doing. So you are studying with music in the background. Music is not helping you to study. It's only keeping other things away. Like doing arti in a temple. People are coming, gossiping, this, that, etc. Arti kar lo abhi. Bang, 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 all the noise. And you can't think of anything else. That noise drowns out everything. Focus. It helps you. Here, we don't use noise and music. Now, there are a lot of these meditations available online, tapes, etc. All playing some music in the background. They call it meditative music. If you have a very, very disturbed mind and you are using those things initially, okay. I won't say it's good, but I'll say it's okay. Because you are having a very disturbed mind. Now, what to do? You have trained your mind to be disturbed very nicely. Why? You are studying with the TV on, you are reading with the TV on, you are having conversations with the TV on and messaging on. I mean, you are teaching your mind to be distracted in the name of being multi-skilled. True multi-skilling, really, if you want to be multi-skilled, they always want by experimentation that at least one of the tasks will suffer if you are doing two things. Therefore, it's okay to chop vegetables for sambar and watch the TV. Because the shape and all doesn't matter. Sambar, the shape of the vegetable doesn't matter. Yeah. For Chinese cooking, it matters, So that's different. It matters only for appearance, okay? Not for taste. So, multi-skilling, ensure that one of them is mechanical. One of them is mechanical. Or, to be really multi-skilled, you have to be so centered and calm that your mind can handle all things. That requires a highly contemplative mind, a highly centered mind. You can't directly jump into that. You have to go through this. This meditativeness you have to go through to get there. Then you can multi-skill very easily. Then you can multi-skill. Yeah. Therefore, yataha nischarati manas chanchalam astiram tataha niyamyetad. Whenever the mind goes out, bring it in. These are all alankaras in Sanskrit, wrong in English. When the mind goes out, then we bring it back. English, it sounds bad. But we do speak a lot of Indian English Give one book to one student. What is that? One book to. अरे हर एक बच्चे को एक किताब दे दो, एक किताब दे दो हर बच्चे को. It's the translation from Hindi into English straight. Give one book to one person. Give a book each. That will be correct English. But this is, in Sanskrit it is considered alankaram, used for verses and poetry. Yato nischarati tatastasa samyamet. As and when the mind goes out, you bring it back. Niyameta. And atmanyeva vasham nayet. Atmanyeva vasham nayet. Back into the self. Bring it back. So this process of bringing it back is also part of your meditation. Why? Because you are training your mind to be back into focus, no? Back here. Mind went, bring it back. Mind. Therefore means what? You have to be very alert when doing this. So those who find that they cannot be very alert, I will tell you all a secret here. Use the power of auto-suggestions. Says, today when I am meditating, I will be completely alert and focused. I am completely alert and focused while meditating. Present tense or present continuous tense. I am. That will help. That will help. Very often we use a mala. Have you seen some people using a mala for chanting? You can use a mala for meditation also, but this can also become mechanical. Mechanical ho sakta hai. But the thing is, if you are a bit alert, Om Namah Shivaya and bring one down. Om Namah Shivaya, bring the next one down. Om Namah Shivaya, bring the next one down. So when your thought goes out, Om Namah Shivaya is not there. The somatic reaction of your mind is to connect the Om Namah Shivaya and the rotation of the beads. So when Om Namah Shivaya goes out, rotation stops. When rotation stops, sensation on your fingers is stationary. There is no moving sensation, is not there. Therefore the mind will be, I'll come back. It's an aid, that's all. It's an aid, not necessary. It's just an aid. Okay. Yeah, this mala, my teacher gave it to me some 50 years back, 45 years back. So both, it has become nicely polished. Okay. Both japa ki. Some people ask me, Swamiji, this is nice beads, where do you get them? I said, you get ordinary beads and then you polish it with your japa. Of course, now I'm sure there will be some buffing machines also available. If you want to buff it and get it. Science and technology can do anything as far as the external signs are concerned. But what japa will give you a mind, that buffing will not give it to you. That buffing will not give it to you. Buffing will give you a mala like that. That's not a problem. Okay. Therefore, use whatever technique necessary to be able to pull back that mind. Basically, be very alert. Okay. Now, when I say be very alert, you can't be mechanical for 24 hours a day and half an hour be alert. That doesn't happen. So, in your life, become very alert and deliberate in what you're doing. Be conscious. Be awareful in what you're doing. Don't be mechanical. You don't have to go up to the lift and come back and check whether you locked the door properly. Why? Because you have done it very awarefully, you know you have locked it. Be awareful. If you have a habit of double checking, that's fine. But that double checking happens instantly right there itself. After you lock, you double check. Because some of us who are safety trained have this habit of double checking everything for sake of safety. So that's okay. Yeah. Double checking is not a problem. But not being awareful is the issue. Therefore, in life, to become awareful in what you do. Alert, live an alert life. Alert to what's happening, awareful and alert to what's happening outside and what's happening inside, both. Alert outside to be awareful of your environment, this, that, everything, all the thing. What's happening where? Yeah. Everything. Inside, in terms of your thoughts, feelings, desires, etc. Be awareful so that mind doesn't hijack you. Mind doesn't make you do things that you don't want to do. Or mind doesn't make you do things which are without any awarefulness. Doesn't hijack. You can follow your own decisions through. And if this basic quality of awarefulness and alertness is not there, you can study all the mind control system in the world. EST, Silva mind control, NLP, EFT, all that you can do. None of them will help you when it comes to life. None of them will help you. Why? You are not alert and awareful. Mind is hijacking you. And the mind is feeling great. देखा NLP की है, NLP practitioner है, देखा उसको कैसा उल्लू बना दिया. If the mind could have a conversation with you, you will be shocked at what your mind will tell you. Silva mind control. Great yogi. I can make such an idiot out of this guy. It is true. Because you can use those things only if you are alert and awareful, no? Otherwise, how can you use it? Yeah, otherwise, how can you use it? Your mind is hijacked. Taken away. When your mind is being taken away, if you are awareful and alert, hey, mind is going, chalo, pull it back. Whatever technique, etc., you can use that. I'll harness the power of the subconscious. Do it. So that you require a lot of awarefulness and alertness. The affirmation I talked about is harnessing your subconscious mind. But if you are not awareful, you will mechanically repeat it and that also will become mechanical. Won't work. Therefore, to be alert and awareful is the hallmark of being meditative. Any questions, clarification up to here, or is it clear up to here? Okay. All right. Would you like to do some more words or like to do some meditation? Some meditation?
Meditation, Swami.
Meditation,
Okay.
Swami.
Okay, fine. Okay, but don't limit it to only this few minutes here. Okay. Make it a part of your day-to-day sadhana. Okay. When you're talking about sadhana, as I said, I don't normally talk about mass sadhanas. For me, sadhana, when I give it to someone, it's always individual. But I thought for Shivratri, it's a good idea, I put it up in all the groups. At least, even if you can't do 3 malas, do 1 mala every day until Shivratri.
We are doing it, Swamiji.
Good. That's nice. Just to remind it, in case people are not taken up, it's a good thing to do. If your lifestyle, because there are too many demands on your time, does not allow you to do 3 malas a day, do 1. But even that one that you're doing, be very alert and awareful when you're doing it. Okay, yeah. And this meditation, 10-15 minutes, whatever is comfortable, what your mind can handle, do that daily, because that will become a very great aid for you both to understand and to own up. Now be careful of one thing. Don't make a sankalpa. I will get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do it. Don't work. But if you make a plan like this, first thing after my bath in the morning, I will do it. Then since you have a bath every morning, hopefully, you will do this also whenever you have a bath. I assume everyone has a bath once a day at least. So whenever you have a bath, After that, you'll sit down and meditate. Simple. It has become part of your routine now. So it's integrated into your routine. So if you integrate any practice that you have to do into your routine, it will work well. Of course, if getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning is great for you, do it. Do what works. There is a time in my life when I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because I used to go to sleep at 9:30. I used to be exhausted at the end of the day. So by the time I had my dinner at 8 o'clock, my eyes are closing. Then because you can't go to sleep immediately, I would read the paper, this, that, etc. for an hour or so and then go to sleep. So that time 4 o'clock was fine. Today, all the calls start coming in after 10, 11. So that is not feasible now. Yeah. Do what works for you, okay? Make it part of your routine, you will do it. Okay. But remember, meditation is not like your exercising, your yoga, your pranayama, etc. It is not 3 times a week. Preferably every day. Okay. Once in a way, if you miss because of some reason, don't feel guilty about it. That's important. Once in a way, if you miss it, don't feel guilty. It's okay. But if you are missing every day, then there is something off. Okay. Yeah. Because the flip side also I have to show. Anyway. So we'll do a quick 10-minute meditation. So you sit erect. The body base, you have a comfortable base, an erect spine, if you are cross-legged on the floor, fine. If you are on a chair, fine. If you are sitting on a chair or something, see that both your feet are flat on the ground, unless you are sitting cross-legged on your chair, with some South Indians have that habit. That's also okay. Okay. You sit erect. The spine is erect, neck is looking straight forward. Don't put it up, don't put it down. Many of you have that habit. Okay. Look straight ahead, then gently close your eyes and mouth. See that your body is relaxed. Facial muscles relaxed. No frown on your face. You are not concentrating on anything. No frown. Facial muscles relaxed. Neck muscles relaxed. Shoulders relaxed. Arms, forearms, palms and fingers all relaxed. Chest muscles relaxed. Stomach relaxed. Sides relaxed. Upper back, lower back relaxed. Even if you have some pain somewhere, tell yourself it's okay, it's relaxed. Waist and hips relaxed. Thigh muscles relaxed. Your knees, calves, ankle, feet and toes. Now you all have been following one pattern of meditation. I'm going to change it slightly today, just so that you know that there are various ways of doing this. So look at this body. You are aware of this body, you are independent of this body. This body is sitting here like any other body. You are the one that is watching the body. The one that watches the body is independent of the body. Just pay attention to the body. You are the witness of the body. The sensation in your body. The sensation on the hand that's kept on your knee or your lap. The sensation there. The sensation on your feet. If the fan is on, the breeze that is touching your skin, it's a sensation. Just be aware of it. You are the one who is aware of the whole thing. Now shift your attention to the prana, your breath. Breathing happens. You are watching it. Just watch that breath. At the tip of the nostrils, watch that breath. Watch that breath in your throat as it goes down. Watch it filling your lungs. By this time, your mind will be quiet. Just watch that quiet mind. If there are thoughts coming up, let it come and go. You are witnesser of the thoughts. You are not the thought. Thought comes and goes. You are the silent witness of everything that is there. You are that silent awareness that's independent of everything. You are in this body but independent of the body. You are aware of the prana, you are independent of it. You are in the thoughts but independent of the thoughts. Thoughts come and go in you. You are not in the thought is in you. In you the awareness, the thought is born. Into you the awareness, the thought dies down. You, the awareness, is independent of all thought, all sensations, all feelings, untouched by any of them. Asangoham, I am asangaha, untouched, independent of all that is there. पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can cup your eyes and come back to normal thinking. Okay. Now this is a very shortened version, but we went straight into the Nididhyasanam part. When you are practicing at home, okay, do this if you don't have time. But otherwise, do the full thing. Starting with relaxing your body, then accepting situations in your life. Your Manasa Puja, acceptance of situations, that's important because that helps you bring the Karma Yoga Buddhi into your meditation and strengthens the Karma Yoga Buddhi when you are functioning in life. Then the Japa, Dhyanam, etc. We'll do that again next time. So, any questions, clarifications? Or things are clear? Today was simple. That class wise is yeah. Yes, only 8 minutes, correct? The meditation was that simple, that short. But you feel the whole depth of that thing. It is the depth of the meditation that's important than the length of the meditation.
Yes.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Question, please.
Thank you.
So all the you have a question, Jaya?
Yeah.
What is the question?
So when we say whenever the mind goes back, bring it back, goes out, bring it back in. When in meditation, when we are doing Nididhyasanam, we are saying that we are watching the mind and the thoughts, and the self that or the I that is watching the thoughts is limitless.
The Sakshi,
awareness, conscious is the Sakshi. So then what is that I which is bringing the mind back in?
Only if the mind goes. If the mind goes and you have gone along with the mind, then that state of being identified with the Sakshi is already gone. You have become the knower, the doer. So bring back, get back into the contemplative state.
So then what is it that brings
The knower,
back?
doer.
Okay.
The
So
knower
that
is doing it.
still
Yes.
associated with the body-mind complex.
Yep.
It's not the Sakshi.
No.
Okay.
Then, but you get back into the Sakshi. The moment the mind comes back, witnessing, you are the Sakshi, the consciousness. So it seems to, it's a developing a knack of being with yourself. The knack of being with ourselves which we have lost. Remember last time what I said? From tree to tree, without coming down on the ground of silence that you are.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, all the best.
Pranam,
Take care.
Swamiji, thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Thank you so much.
Pranam, Swamiji, thank you very much.
Enjoy
Pranam,
yourselves.
Swamiji.